Lindsay here, the Frugal Crafter. It's time for another Sat Chat. This will be a medium long one, I think. Well, you'll see the time stamp on the video. Boy, I can talk, can I? This first question comes from Jana Kautsky. Hope I pronounced that right. How do you find a good quality paper, and how do you sell prints or start a shop? I'm constantly second guessing my art and how to price it. Love your videos. Well, thank you very much. Well, there's many different ways you can start a shop. You can either do your own website, like there's many sites that are very user-friendly to build, like you could use a Squarespace or Wix or any amount of online e-commerce websites pretty affordably, but they're going to cost more probably than going to like Etsy, where you pay per listing. Like, I don't know if it's 20 or 50 cents or something, and then they take a small commission when you sell. I think if you were just starting out, it might make sense to go with like Etsy, where they already have a customer base built in that you might be able to piggyback on. But if you already have like a big following and you're looking to add print sales to that, you might be better off doing it on your own website. There's a third option too, where you can upload your artwork to a website called, there's a few of them, they're print on demand sites. So there's like Redbubble and Society6. They used to be Cafe Press. I used Cafe Press back in the day. And you would upload your artwork, and then if somebody buys it, then they would print it and ship it, and you would get like a percentage of that sale. So let's say if there was a coffee mug and the base price of the coffee mug was $4 and you sold the coffee mug for $8, then when somebody bought it, the company where you're listing it would get $4, and you would get whatever you marked it over that $4, and they would handle printing it, shipping it, and getting out the door. Generally though, you don't get a $4 markup on anything. It's generally small markups, except for prints. Usually you can make a little bit more money on, but they handle all the storage, the shipping, and the printing. So all your time is basically in the uploading of the designs, and you're not risking any money. It's, you pay when something gets purchased, they keep their percentage, they keep their base price, and then you get the markup basically. So that would be kind of the risk-free way to do it. But then if you want to actually have your own prints made or print them at home and mail them out, I would probably recommend something like Etsy, just because when you're starting out, you're probably not selling a huge sales volume. So paying a monthly hosting fee for a website might not pay for itself. As far as selecting good paper, I think I would get samples from a couple different. Well, see, it depends. I guess if you want to print them at home, then you're going to have to invest in a decent printer and then decent paper. The paper that I don't do prints, by the way. Let's get that right out there. So I'm really not the best person to ask. But some paper I've really enjoyed have been, well, actually, no, I'm not even going to mention it because I think it's discontinued. I would research it and ask other artists that sell their prints online personally. Or I would look at sites that do prints, like for postcard printing and larger prints, and see how much it costs and get samples so you can see their quality and then order from them. Of course, then you're taking the risk that you might order 100 copies or something to get the price down, but you might not sell that many. So you could print them at home. It would cost you more per print, but you wouldn't have a bunch of things that you can't sell. So I can't really recommend a printer because I don't do prints. I would look at, there's a lot of YouTubers that do, and I would ask them what they use or if they could give you some advice, because I really can't. But those are the main options: would be your own website, a print-on-demand site, or you print it and pack it and then go through like Etsy or some sort of marketplace like that. And I really can't tell you what's best. I could tell you if I was going to do it, I probably would just do a print-on-demand site, because I don't want the headache of shipping and printing and all that. But if it was your main source of income, the margin is going to be small, so you probably wouldn't be able to make enough doing that. So you might want to do another more labor-intensive route, but more profit as well. Carla May asks, hey Lindsay, I guess I'm wondering, do you ever start a project or a piece and then set it aside and not get the motivation to pick it back up again ever? I'm always starting new pieces because my brain has all these ideas and I need to get them all out before they disappear. I hear ya. I hear ya. We are the same person. But I have a bunch of others sitting in the pile that groweth. Yes, that pile has a name. And I need to get it completed. How do you get yourself to pick them back up and finish them? You're an inspiration, by the way. Well, controversially, I don't. If I am not, I rarely go back to a page. If I've lost interest, it's usually gone. That's why I tend to work in sketchbooks and do smaller works now. I find that I can finish that. I've had knitting, I did, you know, I say that, but I did have a shawl that was like going on for 2 years, and I finally finished it because I was still wanted to do it. I just, things I'd rather do otherwise. That's tough because, yeah, I usually just bail on them, or I jump on a project while I'm excited, and then, of course, I have the accountability to finish a project because I'm usually making a video for it, and this is my livelihood, so that's my accountability. If I didn't, there's been projects where if I wasn't making a video, I would have thrown it away, you know, and just was not enjoying it. But then I'm usually glad that I pushed through and finished it. Like there was a castle painting that I did a few months ago, and I was hating it, but it was one of those things, I was under a time crunch. I'm like, I've got to get this done. I do not have time to think up something else. And by the end of it, I had pulled it out of the fire, and it was good, and I liked it. So, so there's my accountability right there. So start a YouTube channel, and that will keep you accountable to finishing your projects. I don't know if that's good advice or not, but I think you have to be honest with yourself. Pick up that piece, say, do I really want to finish this? You know, don't think about the time and the supplies you've already invested in it. Ask yourself, do I really want to finish this? And it's okay to let things go. Maybe make a pile that says like burn pile, make a box and write burn it on it, and start putting stuff in there and see how you feel. Do you feel liberated when you get rid of those supplies, those projects? Or do you feel bad? Do you feel like you're letting go of something that has potential? If you feel like it has potential, keep it. If you feel relief at the thought of getting rid of it, let it go. And start a YouTube channel. I don't recommend anybody starts a YouTube channel. That's bad advice. I'm just kidding. Kristen Vigney, I'm wondering how to see values when looking at colors, i.e. dark versus lighter. I want to be able to switch colors in the same light and darkness while looking at watercolor paints and reference photos. Well, do you have a smartphone? You probably do. You might, because you left a comment. Or a digital camera, because with a smartphone, actually, you could take a picture, or you can even look at the painting through your camera app, and there's little settings on there generally, and you can turn something to black and white. So scroll through, do your thing, get to the black and white setting, and look at it through your viewfinder. Take a picture if you want to, or you can just look at it if your camera will let you see the black and white through there. And that will help you see values. That will help you see that yellow, even your darkest yellow, is a lighter value than a lot of your other colors. That will help you determine your value scale. You can purchase a little value scale, which is like a, it's like a cardboard rectangle, and it's got 10 different values, 7 to 10 different values on it, and a little punch out hole, so you can peek through it, hold that up to your phone, and see what the values actually are. Eventually, it's going to be second nature. You will not have to do this forever. You will instinctively see them after a while, but when you're beginning, it can be really tricky, and that's going to be the best and easiest way to see those values. Change it to black and white, and if you got a phone, you can do it right there. You don't even have to print it out or put it on your computer. You can see it that way. That would be my recommendation. If your phone doesn't have a black and white thing, look for the saturation setting and just slide it down. You could even download Instagram, and you could like just mess with editing photos and that if your phone for some reason doesn't do that, doesn't let you do that in the camera setting. So there's a way to do it. Instagram's free, so you can do that with a tablet, with a phone, anything like that. Another thing that could be handy if you don't want to mess with any technology is a value finder. Was it called a value finder? I'm not sure what it's called. It's a red piece of acetate that you look through. It's not perfect because it will not show your reds and greens perfectly, but it tends to lighten your reds and darken your greens. But for most colors, it will show you your value. It takes the color out for most things and it will show you the value. So that's another thing that's handy. But man, if you've got a cell phone, a smartphone, that's going to work better than anything. And then we've got one more question I want to answer in this video by Naries. They ask, one of your older videos, I think you mentioned an art gallery asking you if you went to art school. Did you ever think about going to art school? I mean, when you were going to start a college education. Yes, I did think about going to art school, but that thought was quickly thwarted by my parents, who paid for my college, thank God, because I can't imagine having the student debt that kids have nowadays. Yeah, that wasn't seen as a very practical, a viable option, because, you know, of course, most people's idea of an artist is somebody that's starving and eating their paint and cutting off their ear. You know, it's not really, doesn't look like a path to success. And that was a scary thing. And I was first generation college. So, I think if I had wanted to be an architect, that would have been accepted, that would have been encouraged, and I think that's why my parents put me in art lessons from a young age, because they saw that I had some interest and ability, and my parents had a contracting company, and they paid architects lots of money, so I'm sure they saw that as a really good career option for their artsy-fartsy kid. I did not like drawing buildings. I did not like precision, geometrics, math, any of those things. I was definitely always a more organic, natural, almost like a naturalist type painter. So that wasn't my cup of tea. That's not what I wanted to spend my life doing. And I don't know if architects even draw by hand anymore, if everything's on the computer, which I would hate. I hate using the computer. I hate being on the computer any more than I have to. So that wasn't for me. And just fine arts, visual arts, that was just a non-starter. That wasn't going to happen. And I didn't know how to navigate college otherwise. So while sometimes I think back and think, well, should I, how would my life be different if I went to art school? I think, I don't know. I know a lot of people that did go to art school and they're struggling. So I don't really think that would have really made that much of a difference. It might have put me in a different ilk of creators where, I probably wouldn't be on YouTube. I'd probably have a real job, have a real job going into an office, having a desk and, a health plan. Just kidding. Thanks Obama. We do have a health plan, but, one that was paid for by an employer, and a 401k, but maybe not. Who knows? I don't know too many art school graduates that are working in steady, stable jobs. Of course, most of the art school graduates I know would be on YouTube as well. So, so there's that. I went to broadcasting school. I have a communications degree. And that's helped with this immensely. So yes, I did go to an art gallery, probably the only art gallery I ever actually talked with and had interest in my work, because there's not a heck of a lot of them around here. Bangor, Maine, that one actually closed a long time ago. But yeah, they flat out told me that without a degree, we cannot sell your work. Without an art degree, we cannot sell your work. So come back when you have a bachelor's at least, or preferably a master's in art. They just flat out said, people are going to pay big bucks for paintings. They need to have some assurance that their investment is good. And without a degree, that's part of the price tag, is how well trained is the artist that painted it. How much investment has been made in their education. They need that as a selling point to their collectors. And while I can understand that, I was very taken aback and put off and offended. But as we've discussed in Sat Chats, I have very thin skin. So yeah, it was frustrating, and that made me kind of regret my life choices, but also they're out of business now. So, so you reap what you sow, art gallery. Oh, that's mean. I shouldn't say that. But yeah, I don't know. It's a gamble. I think an art degree is a gamble. I think most degrees are a gamble unless you can get out of school making enough to make your student loan payments, like make your actual student loan payments, not like income-based repayment, which is just going to make your interest and I'm so anti-debt. You have no idea. I am so anti-debt, anti-borrowing money. How do we get on this tangent? Art school. Yeah, I think about it. I don't know if sometimes I think about it. I wouldn't say I regret, because the path that I've taken has brought me here, has brought me to the life I have now. I have a good life. So I can't really say that I regret it, but I can say I thought about it. Thinking about it a lot, especially as my kids are getting to college age, but yeah, I don't know. I don't know if I'd recommend it nowadays, where you can learn anything you want online for free or cheap in most cases, for a career that you don't technically need a degree for, except for, fancy, snotty art galleries. You don't need a degree to do this. I do freelance illustrations. I did a lot last year in the freelance illustration world. Do I need a degree? No. Do they care where you went to school? No. What do they care about? What's on the paper. They care not the diploma, they care what the artwork looks like and if it can sell their product or if it can promote whatever they need to promote. That's where the importance is your skill and the artwork you create. Unless you're looking to be, collected by fancy art collectors that spend millions of dollars on artwork, which quite frankly, most people that go to art school don't get to that level. Most people that go to art school can't even get hired to teach at art school because there's a lot of artists out there with master's and doctorate degrees that are having a hard time finding a job that can pay their student loans. So So yeah, I don't know, I guess I'm kind of glass half empty on that, but I can't tell you how to live your life, and you didn't even ask me how to live your life. I don't know. You just asked me if I thought about art school, and there you go, in a really long roundabout answer. Well, that's it for today on this medium length Ask a Crafter. I hope you enjoyed it. Please give me a thumbs up if you did, and I'd love to know what you think in the comments below. Thanks for watching, or if you have answers to anybody's questions and you want to chime in, that would be super duper helpful. I love that. Thanks for watching, and until next time, happy crafting. Bye!